Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. Today we are exploring a vital topic that quite literally touches all of our lives every single day: how conventional farming affects the environment. You see, modern agriculture presents us with this really fascinating dual reality. On the one hand, it's achieved immense, undeniable success in feeding billions of people worldwide. But on the other hand, it leaves a complex environmental footprint that we really need to understand. So, let's look at how we balance our plates with our planet.
Okay, let's dive right into this. We've got 5 main areas to cover today: the modern farming system, the foundation of soil health, water quality and ecosystems, biodiversity and climate realities, and finally, towards sustainable solutions.
Section 1. The modern farming system. Scale and necessity.
We really have to look at the whole picture here. The benefits of conventional farming, they are absolutely monumental. I mean, it literally feeds billions of people, significantly ramps up food availability, and ultimately keeps food costs down for growing populations all over the globe. But right across from that, we've got the challenges. Like any system operating on a massive global scale, it's going to carry some unintended environmental impacts and can lead to natural resource depletion. Our goal today isn't to take a side, but to impartially weigh these incredible agricultural successes right alongside those environmental consequences.
So what exactly is conventional farming? Basically, it represents our modern agricultural systems. We're talking about highly advanced techniques that are designed specifically to maximize crop yields and overall production efficiency. The entire goal here is just maximizing agricultural productivity to meet the heavy, constant food demands of our global population.
And to actually achieve those massive yields, the system relies on a very specific toolkit. We're talking synthetic fertilizers, chemical pesticides, and herbicides. You couple these inputs with highly mechanized equipment, intensive irrigation, and large-scale monoculture, and you've got the powerful engines that drive high-yield agriculture today.
Moving on to Section 2, the foundation, soil health, the ground beneath us.
It might sound incredibly simple, but healthy soil is the absolute foundation of sustainable agriculture. It really is. Before we even explore the effects of certain farming practices, we just have to recognize that without healthy, living soil, long-term crop production simply isn't possible.
And this brilliantly illustrates a kind of dangerous domino effect. It starts with intensive tillage and continuous monocropping, which really disrupts the earth. That leads straight into a severe loss of organic matter and microbial diversity. Without that biological glue holding everything together, erosion and soil compaction set in, ultimately creating a system that is entirely dependent on synthetic external inputs just to maintain baseline yields. Section 3. Water quality and ecosystems. Shared water resources.
Now, obviously, agriculture relies heavily on water, but a big challenge arises when heavy rainfall interacts with freshly treated fields. This can cause fertilizer and pesticide runoff. Those chemical inputs we just talked about, they don't always stay put on the crops. They can wash right off the fields and make their way into nearby rivers, lakes, and even our groundwater systems.
And when that runoff enters the water supply, it introduces several potential environmental concerns. We're looking at water contamination that triggers massive nutrient imbalances in aquatic systems. All that excess fertilizer directly suffocates fish habitats and disrupts local wildlife. Fortunately, though, many farmers today are actively deploying precision application technologies to significantly reduce these exact risks.
Which brings us to Section 4, biodiversity and climate realities, broader ecosystems.
So while large-scale monoculture, growing a single crop over a huge area, is incredibly efficient for planting and harvesting, it does fundamentally alter the natural landscape. It simplifies ecosystems and strips away habitat diversity. Nature naturally thrives on variety, right? So dedicating massive tracts of land to just one single plant changes that dynamic entirely.
When those diverse habitats get simplified like that, we see some very specific potential biodiversity impacts. This includes drastically reduced pollinator populations and fewer beneficial insects, literally the very creatures our broader food web relies on to survive. It also means decreased wildlife habitat overall. We lose the complex, layered natural structures that support a wide variety of life.
Now, what's really interesting about this breakdown is how it takes this abstract idea of climate impact and ties it to direct actions. Heavy machinery leads directly to fuel emissions. Manufacturing those synthetic fertilizers carries its own heavy carbon footprint, and broad land management results in significant land use changes.
So it directly links the specific, everyday actions of conventional farming to global greenhouse gas emissions and resource consumption.
All of this leads us to a pretty pivotal question for the future of our food supply. How do we balance immense productivity with environmental responsibility? I mean, we need the food to survive, for sure, but we also desperately need a healthy planet to live on. How do we pivot from these environmental costs toward emerging resolutions in climate-smart technologies?
Let's explore that in Section 5, towards sustainable solutions, ecological shifts.
So the crucial point here is that agriculture is actively evolving. Take precision agriculture. They're using incredible technology now to deploy water and fertilizer only exactly where it's strictly needed. Cover cropping and reduced tillage are actively rebuilding that foundational soil health we were just talking about. Add in highly efficient irrigation and integrated pest management, and you have concrete practices that are bridging the gap between high yield and environmental stewardship.
But hey, it's not just up to the farmers. These macro-agricultural shifts connect directly back to your dinner plate. By staying informed and demanding responsible practices, consumers, that's us, are the driving force contributing to a healthier future for people and the planet. Your awareness and the demands you place on the food system actively support these sustainable shifts.
I want to leave you with this final thought today. How will your next mindful choice about the food you eat help shape the sustainable future of our planet's agriculture? Conventional farming got us to where we are, successfully feeding billions. But understanding its environmental impacts is exactly what's going to safely guide us into the future. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Until next time, keep questioning, keep learning, and remember that every meal is a chance to shape our world.